Andy Katz here for the Pac-12 with some mid-season honors. Let's start with Player of the Year, Payton Pritchard from Oregon. This is going to be very interesting how this all plays out. Right now, I think he is the Player of the Year in the Pac-12 because he's a National Player of the Year candidate somewhere in that top 4. If for some reason Oregon starts to slide back, and let's say Colorado were to win the Pac-12, and certainly McKinley Wright IV could end up being Pac-12 Player of the Year. I wouldn't rule out Trace Tinkle just yet, but since Oregon State has been struggling a little bit, been inconsistent, it could be hard for him to win Pac-12 Player of the Year. So I'm going with Payton Pritchard. For Coach of the Year, you could go in so many different directions right now. To me, the biggest surprise near the top of the Pac-12 is Stanford. And that's why Jared Haas gets the honor for me right now in the midseason. Now, the Cardinals certainly have been not as consistent here at this juncture in the Pac-12, but they're still looking like a very strong NCAA tournament team and a Pac-12 title contender. They're still in the mix. You still could go with Dana Altman from Oregon, Tad Boyle from Colorado, Andy Enfield from USC, depending on where they finish. If Arizona were to win the Pac-12, then I think Sean Miller would certainly have to get strong consideration for Coach of the Year in the Pac-12. For Freshman of the Year, look, if you just base it on talent, stats, it's a no-brainer. It's Isaiah Stewart from Washington. He will win it. But Washington right now at the bottom of the Pac-12. So if you were to take that into consideration, would you still give it to Isaiah Stewart even though he is the best freshman? If you don't, then there are plenty of other candidates. Nico Mannion from Arizona, Onyekwe Okongwu from USC, Terrell Terry from Stanford. Ultimately, I think Isaiah Stewart will get the honor, but you could go in a different direction if Washington doesn't finish somewhere above, let's say, 10th in the Pac-12. Ultimately, I think Stewart will get it. For the most improved, you got to look at two schools that are doing much better than expected. In fact, Mark Fox at Cal and Kyle Smith at Washington State, if they were to win a bunch more games, they'll be in contention for Pac-12 Coach of the Year. But their players, Matt Bradley from Cal, up from 10 points to 17. C.J. Ellaby from Washington State, from 14 to 18. Those two players, I think, will be in contention for Most Improved Player of the Year out of the Pac-12. And for the one game that I'm looking forward to the most in the back half of the Pac-12 season, it's the return game between Oregon and Arizona. That'll be on February 22nd in Tucson. The last time they played, 74-73, Payton Pritchard with the winning bucket in Eugene. It's going to be hard to repeat that, but I think they can in Tucson. All right, for the Pac-12, I'm Andy Katz.